Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome, welcome, welcome to a live episode, the first live episode in 2025 of Faith Walk, the intersection of life and faith. And we are so happy to be back with you all this evening. Congratulate yourselves for crossing over to 2025 because some people didn't. So it's a testimony and it is a great thing because we walk by faith on this show, Faith Walk. Hello, Faith Walkers. Happy New Year. Great to see you today. Those who are watching live and those who are watching on the replay. Can't get my words together. On the replay, welcome to 2025, a brand new year. And it's going to be a great year. It's a great year because it's a year that God has made. And every day and every year that he makes is great and wonderful, despite life happening in the process. So it is a great day and it's going to be a great year. And I hope that you all are still working on accomplishing the goals that we started back in September of 2024, because we're not making resolutions. We just continue to evolve with time. So just wanted to throw that out there. And this year is going to be, God is giving us a finishing grace to accomplish those goals that we have set out to accomplish, right? An accomplishing grace. And so therefore, because there's an accomplishing grace on 2025, that means you are going to finish what you began last year that you brought into this year and things that you will start this year. No more aborting what we've started. So there's a finishing grace on this year. So step into it, walk into it, receive it, walk into it, and accomplish those things that are on your agenda. Because when there's grace for it, you can do it because God's help is there. So don't wait, begin or continue so you can finish and get the prize, get the reward that's at the end of that finishing grace. There's not always a grace on something that we're doing, but God says there's a grace this year on things that we're doing. So make sure you put pen to paper, foot to the plow, anything that you need to do, even if there's people that God may have put in your path to help you with what it is that you need to accomplish, because there's nothing wrong with that. We need help. Right? No man is an island. No woman is an island. So accomplish those things while the grace is there, because you don't want to try to do it when the grace is lifted. It'll be so much more difficult if it happens at all. So 2025, there's a finishing grace on your God-assigned, keywords there, on your God-assigned projects. All right, let me bring my great and wonderful bestie and co-host to the stage this evening. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear her, she normally has a deep voice because, Sandra Lee has a deep voice. But today it's a little deeper, kind of like a little walrusy sound. Not sure this is something that she's practicing to do something a little bit different, or maybe she's a little under the weather, but she's so dedicated that she's still going to join us tonight. Hello, Sandra Lee. How are you?
Well, now I'm afraid to talk because you done made me out to be a walrus. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, everybody. I got some stuff going on with my voice. I don't know, how all these different germs is in the air, but I am here. I'm here for it. So if it's a walrus up, baby, because I am here. You may not hear me talk as much, but just know that I'm in the studio and I'm ready to hear this wonderful, wonderful topic of Black businesses. So, hey, walrus is in the house.
That's right. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely.
We've already got some people in the comments in the stream. Gwen was first before we even went live. Hey, Gwen, how are you? Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everyone. Gwen says, good evening, family, and prosperous New Year. Honey Bunches says, hello, ladies. Sherry Dirks. Hey, Sherry, haven't seen you in a while. Yes. Hope all is well. Happy New Year to you. Hopefully I'll see again sometime in 2025. Good to see you today, Sherry. And Amira says, hey, Amira, and happy New Year to you also. Sherry says, happy New Year, woman of God. Happy New Year. Tiffany Clifton Reed, happy New Year to you, Tiffany, my cousin. Happy New Year, Tiffany. Thank you all for putting in the chat, and those of you who may be watching, put in the chat, say hi, because if you don't put your something in the chat, not that you have to, but then we don't know that you're watching. We see numbers, but we can't shout you out and know the particular name of the person who's watching if you don't put something in the chat. But if you choose not to, that is totally fine. It is up to you. Just letting you know. And those
Yes.
of you who watch on the replay, you can still put something in the chat even after the show is over. We do go back and answer questions or follow up with things. We appreciate you watching, whether you watch live or on the replay, because we know whenever we're live, it's not always convenient for everyone, and that is fine. All right, I think we have another comment. Sherry says, likewise. Tiffany, hey, Tiffany. All right, we have a great lineup of guests for you this evening. It is, we started our total wellness series back in September of 2024, late September, per Holy Spirit. And so we are still continuing that per Holy Spirit. And this is Business Wellness Month. So we're still in our wellness season because that's what the Lord has given us to do. So tonight we're talking about Black women in business, and we have three Black women business owners who are going to talk about what it is that they do, and whether it's product, service, or both. And we're going to talk about their journey and some of the advantages, disadvantages, pitfalls, strengths, suggestions, wisdom, etc., of being a Black woman in business. So if you are a Black woman in business and you have any questions, or if you're a woman or even a man in business, it's okay. Put your questions in the comments, in the comment section, and the ladies will answer them as we go along the show. And hopefully we can share some wisdom all together, those in the audience as well as those on the panel. And when we put it all together, we will have more information than we came on the show with tonight. So when we leave, hopefully we'll have more information. And again, not just from the people who are on the panel, those people who are in the audience too, because they have business. You all in the audience have businesses as well. And if you have any questions, if you're a non-business owner and maybe you've been thinking about starting a business, but you're just not sure, you have some doubts, that's okay. Ask these ladies the questions that you have, and they may be able to assist you from getting over that hump from just it being a thought, an idea, to actually starting and being on your way to running a successful business.
Sharon,
Yes,
I
Sandra.
wanted to remind the people that we're going to be on Mondays for the rest of this
Right.
month.
That's right. We're normally on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. But due to some things that are going on at our church this month, in January, we switched the show to Mondays at 8 p.m. just for the month of January. We will return to Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Whatever the first date Wednesday is in February. So just for the month of January, Mondays at 8 p.m. And while I'm here, if you all watched the show, our last episode in December before we went on our winter hiatus, we had Eladia Good Game one, and she's a business lawyer. She's going to be on the next 2 Mondays of this month, and we'll close out the month of January talking about nonprofits next week, and the following week, trademarks, copyrights, branding, and marketing. You do not want to miss those 2 shows, because she is an attorney and that is what she specializes in. And those of us who have businesses or are looking to start businesses, we need to have that foundation shored up. And she is a woman of God. And so she runs her business via Holy Spirit, how he has given her to lead this business. And it is an awesome practice that she has, helping people to build and maintain and be successful in their businesses and making sure they have their legal things tight. So you don't want to miss that show, those shows, and get your business in order. Because again, it is an accomplishing grace, a finishing grace, but we have to have a foundation. We have to have a sure foundation, and God is going to bless those businesses who have their foundation shored up. This is an unusual year, but it's going to be a great year for those of us who are believers, those of us who are saints of God, who truly walk with him. But there's an order to things, right? And so God is helping to get us in order. And Eladia is one of those people who will help us to do that as well. All right, so now let's bring up our first guest tonight. Why don't we bring up Miss Romain Diaz? And you guys know Romain already. She is a movement therapist, a wellness coach, and many other hats that she wears. And she's also my cousin. And I love her. We love her. She's been a guest on several times before. And so she's coming back to talk about, like we said, being a Black business owner and all the stuff that we're going to talk about today. So, Romain, how are you?
I am doing well. Thank you guys for allowing me to come back on. I'm super excited, especially for this conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
We're excited to have you. Thank you for agreeing to join us. So, Romain, tell the audience about yourself and, how long you've been in business, what type of business that you have, what it is that you do, your services, any products, etc.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Romain Diaz. I'm a licensed professional counselor as well as a dance movement therapist. And in this field of psychotherapy, I've started my practice in 2017. But I think I started doing business when I was in the sixth grade with the candy shop in the back of the classroom. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Okay. We had staff and all that and products, right? But but yes, so just had the pleasure to have a wonderful team. There's 11 of us in total, and do various different things in the practice, and I'm just doing this work, so we're just super excited.
Romain, is your business a for-profit or nonprofit?
For profit.
Okay.
We do a lot of different things in the community. We're in 3 schools now, about to be 4. Hopefully great conversations happen today, and I get word by the end of the week. So, put that in prayer. And we're in a community center in West Philadelphia. So there is 3 wellness programs there, and we're one of them. So we have the pleasure to just serve the community, be there, provide individual and therapy groups for free, with some of the support from the grant support that ECS has received. So, and next month we will have dance movement therapy sessions for the seniors, what I call the seasoned folks.
Oh,
and that will start next month, doing dance movement therapy at the center. So, yep.
Wow.
Awesome.
And various other things that we do, but yes.
Yeah, that's really good. Especially, you can't forget the seniors.
Right.
Yes.
Movement and
I
that
call it
mobility.
seasoned people.
Yes. That's awesome. So when you have that or a flyer, together for that or whatever, make sure you send it over to Ayana so we can advertise it, during our other shows.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. I sure will.
All right. So we're going to bring up Brittani Truitt right now, and she's going to tell us about her business. Hi, Brittani. How are you?
Hey, good evening. Good. How are you? Hey.
Good to see you.
Thank
you. Brittani, tell the audience about yourself, about your business, how long you've been in business, for-profit, nonprofit, all of that, your services, et cetera, and products.
Absolutely. So my name is Brittani Truitt. I am co-owner of Simply Flora's Event Designers and owner of Simply Lux Event Rentals. Simply Flora's has been in business since 2011. Simply Lux started in 2021. Just kind of as a piggyback on what we were already doing, just expanding like the opportunity for clients to take their events above and beyond. I am lead designer, head designer at Simply Flora's, and I kind of run everything behind the scenes except for like delivery with Simply Lux. And we are a for-profit organization.
Okay, awesome. Now, I didn't ask you this, Nikki, but you can answer as well. But Brittani first. Are you both doing your business full time, or are you employed somewhere else and doing your business? Brittani, you first.
Full time the entire time.
Okay, all right. Yeah. And Nikki, how about you?
Multiple streams of income is what I like to have. Well, I'm doing my practice full time for sure. However, I do collaborate with other agencies. And we can talk about that too, as far as when we get to certain questions. I definitely want to support my 401k by some of the benefits and things that I get with certain contracts. So, here and there. But as far as full-time practice all day long, yes.
Okay.
Okay. And audience, just so you know, because I realized what I just did, I called Romain Nikki. Nikki's Romain is my cousin.
Right. We got to keep it straight for everybody.
Yeah. Right. And so I'm so used to calling her Nikki because that's her middle name. Well, it's longer than that, but anyway. So if you hear me say Nikki, I really mean Romain because I'm not used to calling her Romain. So just like minute. How come she answered and she said Nikki?
Yep, this is it's true. It's true.
All right, so now we're going to bring up Ayisha Williams, and Ayisha is going to tell us about her wonderful business, Beyond Bubbles, and what it is that she does, and all the same questions that the other ladies answered. How are you, Ayisha?
I'm doing well. Good evening, everybody. Walrus Jr. here. Sandra is my mama. My name is Ayisha, and I am the owner, operator, soap designer, head engineer, entrepreneur, marketing team, customer service for Beyond Bubbles. I do handcrafted soaps, body butters, and kind of body care in general. And also, I just ventured out into candles. I am a for-profit business, and I am right now, I do have a full-time job. So this is what I do, once the sun goes down and on the weekends.
When the sun goes down, right?
Yes.
And beyond,
yes,
right?
And
Yes,
beyond.
exactly.
Right,
And
beyond.
beyond.
Beyond Bubbles, because you spend your time
That's
beyond.
right. That's right. That's right. Gotta take it beyond after 5 p.m.
Oh, so let's talk a little bit about being employed by an employer, and as well as you guys may be employers of yourselves. What is it like having a full-time, part-time, whatever the situation may be, job, and having your own business, so basically playing double duty? And if you've transitioned out of that, because a lot of people are in that space, and there's a fear and a doubt sometimes, oftentimes actually, when it's like, oh, is it time to leave the full-time job, that security of that every week, every other week paycheck, those benefits, healthcare, insurance, and all of that, and then stepping out fully on your own? So let's talk about that. Nikki, why don't you go first? Talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I was working inpatient psych for 15 years, and just having also different contracts. I also started my private practice in 2017, and not only was I working inpatient psych, but I was part of leadership. So that means of a hospital that's 24/7 plus running the business, etc. And I think I shared with you guys all on one of the episodes. It was just time for various different reasons, and I started becoming real bitter or real frustrated, and it came through my actions, right? And like I said, I knew it was most reasons to leave, but I could do that job with my eyes closed, so it was a comfort level, right? And I just got several confirmation during the pandemic. I wanted to go before the pandemic, but and just having my baby, and it was the pandemic. I was like, you know what? Something got to give. I just didn't know how to make that switch. And long story short, God gave me so many signs that I paid attention to. Like if I'm in a meeting, and I would get so frustrated in a meeting about whatever was going on that made no sense. And I would like raise my hand, get upset, and just kind of go back and forth. And every time I looked at my phone, I got a new referral in my private practice. Somebody was calling me like, hey, I need you to do something for me. Hey, it was another referral. Like it was like constant reminders every time I would have that moment. And when there was like, it's time. It's time. And I had multiple confirmations. And at some point, it's not going to beat me in my head, right? So I was like, I'm gonna listen. I will listen. So that's kind of a short version of my journey of making that switch.
Okay. And Brittani, I know you are doing your businesses full-time. Was there a time
Yes.
when you were employed? How did you make that transition? What was that like for you?
Well, my story is a little bit different. When I was employed hourly, it was by the gentleman who trained me. I knew him a long period of my lifetime, but I used to design for him at his business, and I was doing the behind the scenes billing and accounting, and I kind of seen the ins and out, the goods, the bads, the whole thing. But he passed away, and I didn't want his legacy to go with him. So I picked up where he left. I knew all the clientels, sent the letter. They knew me, right? And they were very comfortable, like knowing that transition and ball now being in our court and trusting us. So along with working hourly for the previous, well, not the previous owner, but the previous floral design business, I was also working retail, like 2 jobs, and I did not want to continue doing retail for multiple reasons. And I just kind of I was comfortable with the clients. I mean, there were challenges because the gentleman who trained me, he would leave and go on vacation, and he would like, it was in your hand. I'm like, what? But he wasn't disappointed. The fact that he felt comfortable doing it,
for sure.
I knew that he had a nice trust in me. It gave me confidence to be able to do this without him. It was a little hard, but I just, remember everything that he taught me and just kind of made it my own. But I always give him credit because behind the scenes is God first, and then who trained me and how they molded me as well. So the transition from part-time to doing it full-time, it was kind of smooth. More hours of work, much more behind the scenes, mental things going on, but I think it was worth it. There's no regret.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So Ayisha, we know that you're still employed and working beyond hours, weekdays and weekends. Right. So what's it like for you, and do you have a strategic plan to transition out of employment to your business at some juncture?
Absolutely. It is definitely my prayer to make Beyond Bubbles my full-time and only time, employment outside of, being a wife and being a mother and things like that. But when I started my business, I had just celebrated my 3-year anniversary. I started in November of 2021. So I just passed my, 3-year mark of being in business. And, when I first started, I gave myself a goal. I won't share what the goal is because I won't tell you if I missed it or not. Of like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go hard for this business, work beyond, and, eventually leave my job. And when I got the list of, talking points, I thought about this question. And one of the things that's really holding me outside of being able to sustain the business financially is health insurance.
Yes.
I have some good health insurance. And so being a self-employed person, you just don't have the same backing with that insurance. So I went to the doctor's and mama asked me, she was like, so what's your copay going to be, about $60? That's what mine is. And I was like, co what, girl, baby, there's no co in my pay. So health, let me tell you, so that's one of the things, that's one of, when I get to that point in my business, that's going to be one of the things that I really have to pray on, and find the right footing, because that's one of the things that's kind of keeping me tethered to it, longer than I probably need to be, or want to be. But I definitely do have a point that I want to transition into making this full time, because, I have a young family. And so I don't want to, be doing this forever. I want to put my focus and, my time into, my family life and my, what I started for myself, as well.
Absolutely. And can I add something else, Sharon, to that transition too? Is that, when you transition, you just don't go from working full time to, completely doing a business. Sometimes you're doing it simultaneously. I know working full time, like I said, being in a hospital and being on call, kind of get up 4 o'clock in the morning to see what the staff is doing, whatever's going on, to go into my private practice when it was, in person, oh God, I can't say Monterey. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Go to Monterey. Then you got to go run home and do that other 3rd, 4th, 5th jobs that you have to do, right? So you make this transition along the way, but it's not like dumping one and do the other. It is definitely work, and it's definitely like that commitment to say, hey, I got to see it through because I want to start to titrate myself down.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree on that one too about the health insurance.
Yes.
Yes. Especially when you have young children, and Nikki, you have children as well. That's a lot. How much individual paying it, and it's a lot. Well, a family, come on now.
Yeah. I didn't carry some bellies across some thresholds some days.
Yeah, got that right.
We have a couple of comments I'm going to read. Tiffany Clifton Reed says, I remember when Romain made the transition, even as her cousin who is older and doesn't have a business. She did a great job at her transition, and I know her gift, and God has been blessing her ever since. And now, as a part-time employee of hers, as a breast health consultant, I am so impressed with how she runs her business and all that she does. Kudos to you,
Yes,
Nikki,
thank you,
via your other
cousin.
cousin, Tiffany.
She's amazing. That's why she's on the team too. I gotta have a lineup of wonderful people around me. So she's doing great work as well. So I appreciate you, Tiff.
Awesome. Amira says good health insurance will definitely keep you at a job. Absolutely, absolutely. And Amira also says, I'm prayerful that God will make a way for you to leave your job and maintain good insurance. So yes,
That's right.
we're gonna put that in the atmosphere for all of us.
That's right.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We're watching that God will make
Absolutely.
a way for that transition, and that transition will be smooth and you will not miss a beat, and you will have all the money you need for whatever level of health insurance that you need, and the best level of health insurance, not just something that will get you by, the best, because God's people deserve the best. So we just
absolutely.
All right. So thank you, ladies, for sharing that that journey, because that is a sticking point for a lot of people in business, going from employee to employer or just self-employed. There's some fear associated with that. Can I do it? What will it be like? Can I afford it? And just all the other things that come along with that. But you ladies are living proof that whatever doubts, fears, whatever comes, you can do it. Keep your feet to the plow and God first, because God will guide you through it, because if he's brought you to it, which he has, he's going to guide you through it. So we just have to maintain that relationship and that ear to hear, and he's going to make the way smooth. So
yeah, for sure. 100%. Amen.
So that's awesome. That's awesome. So if you all have any questions, comments, continue to put them in the feed, and the ladies will answer your questions, and we'll just share your comments. Also, too, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the Facebook page, like the Facebook page, like the video, and share the video too, so others can watch this at their convenience. So, ladies, let's talk about how you started your business. What was the impetus that gave you the inspiration to start the business? Was it a situation? Was it a God idea? What was it that made you say, I want to start this particular business? Nikki, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy doing, this work. So just like I was doing therapy there, I just wanted to do it in my own way. Working for a company, well, you have to follow all guidelines ethically, of course, right? But I feel like, when you're working with a client and you know exactly what's going on, but the insurance company is saying, hey, in order to get paid, you got to do this, you got to do that. There was a lot of holding hands in order to do this work that they're not in front of the client with. And I was like, you know what? I want to start my private practice. I always vision myself to have a whole wellness atmosphere. So it's obviously psychotherapy. I do movement therapy. So that aspect and all the various tools that we need to be successful in this life, right? So I need to do it the way I want to do it and see fit and work with the community and work with individuals. And everybody's not going to be have the same treatment course. We're all different. So one person might need one thing versus another, or it can thrive in another form of treatment or care or modality. So that's just, and I wanted to have that one-on-one intimate space with a client and work with them through their transition, right? And it's hard to do that with everything else in the mix of I'll just leave that there. But I always vision that for myself. So I just knew it was time, but I definitely wanted to do that hustle. And I learned so much being in a hospital. I learned so much working at other agencies. And I wanted to just grab and get information everywhere I can so I can do this work. And I learned so much about being there and working with doctors and individuals and nurses and psych techs and everybody along the line. So I needed that too. I needed that space as well.
Okay. Brittany, what about you? What was it? What was your inspiration to? And I know you shared a little bit about it because of what happened, how you transitioned into it, but even getting into that field, what was your inspiration and how did that come about?
Well, my desire definitely grew when I separated myself from my previously hourly job. So together as co-owner, the owner is my mother. And at that time in 2011, I had just had my daughter and I wanted to have her with me, right? And that was an opportunity to homeschool her. It was benefits to the process, right? I was able to keep her with me. I was able to choose the challenges that I wanted to tackle. Whereas though I wasn't I wasn't exposed to as many different parts of like the event field or designing. I was kind of able to like teach myself some things just based on the basics, and just having a really good support team that sees something in you. You know that you are kind of graced for this. So everyone was motivated. Everyone saw something that I just was still trying to tap into. So that really kept me going. And then still that flexibility to be a mom and, and had do those things that I wanted to do as a mother. So
Right.
It was a passion. The passion definitely grew as I stayed focused, on the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's key. Staying focused on the goal, because there's so many distractions out there.
Yeah.
That we could
or naysayers.
Yeah.
What you say, Romain?
And naysayers.
Oh, yes. Oh, please. Though they're always
This is
going
a
to be
distraction.
Yes, and that's how you know you're on the right track. When the haters come out, okay, this must be what I should be doing, right?
That's right.
Because the enemy is busy and he works through people, right? And so, but God is not moved, and when it is a God idea, it's going to come to fruition as long as we submit to Him, like you ladies have done. So, kudos to you, Ayisha. How about your process, the germination of your business and how it got started, the brand out? How did that begin?
So I shared a little bit of it last time. So my business was born out of the pandemic, like so many other businesses were. Right before the pandemic started, I had been doing like waxing, underarm waxing, eyebrow waxing, and all the other parts in between those two things. And so I was trying to go into get my esthetician's license. And when the pandemic hit, of course, they like stopped the courses right, the month that it was supposed to begin. So, I kind of kept checking in as the pandemic, flared up and kind of died down. And I checked in and checked in and checked in. And they just didn't have enough, students for the class. There wasn't a teacher for the course. Part of that desire to get my esthetician's license was to create a line or a brand of like feminine hygiene products. So the washes, the, post wax exfoliation, all those things. And so when they kept postponing and postponing and postponing, I'm like, okay, I got my herbs infusing in jars. Like I got stuff, I still got these ideas and these things I want to do. And so, right, I got to move. Something got to shake, So I decided to pivot, and because I was coming up with a yoni soap, I said, well, if I can take care of what is arguably the body's most sensitive, area, then I can make a soap for for other parts, the whole body, the face, for odor, for all these different things. And so I made that pivot, from just down there care to full body care. And I repurposed those herbs that were in oil, infusing for months and months at that point, and decided to make soap, for sensitive skin, for, newborn skin, for all these different things. And so that's kind of, how Beyond Bubbles was born. We took it from there to here. And that's, what the process was for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So you ladies have laid a great foundation for moving into the next aspect of this conversation. I'm hearing feedback. Are you guys hearing that feedback?
Yep.
I don't know why something happened. Okay. So let's talk about what you have discovered, if you have, along the way, along your journey, of any challenges or disadvantages of starting and maintaining a business as a Black woman business owner. Nikki, have you discovered or encountered challenges?
And I'm gonna throw it to my peers too, because I'm sure they can possibly rock out with what I'm saying. Some of the challenges are too, and I know we use this phrase very frequent, but it's not lightly, like knowing your worth, knowing what you should, what your rate should be, what your quote should be, what your fee should be, being challenged in that way, or being kind of second guessing yourself in that way. So it's like sticking to what your pricing is, if that makes sense, or your fees, right? And not to say, when you're negotiating sometimes with certain companies or situations, but sometimes people can make you feel like you don't have the right to, right? Um, so that can be a little challenging. Also, learning things from scratch as far as when it comes to money and finances, like the back end of things, like the tax situations, or what can you do, not do, like those, or learning about profit margins, those things that, I didn't go to school for finance. I'm more of a people person and health field and all those other things. The caring kind of feel, but when it came to find out, I got to learn about this, I got to learn about that. So you're like not only running your business, but you're learning other aspects too that could be a challenge, but it's also needed, or things won't go well, if that makes sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany, what about you? What have you discovered along the way?
I can agree what Romain said, knowing your worth, because as far as like publicly, I never really advertised myself, still don't, right? I want people to see product and want the product, whether or not if I'm purple or if I'm lime green. But there has been times where clients will come into the shop and they would say like, oh man, can I speak with the owner? Can I speak with the designer? And I'll be like, speaking.
Yep.
And you can kind of see them shift.
Yeah.
And then if you they'll continue to maybe be interested in something. The prices could be written in blood on the wall, and they will still try to like negotiate it. Whereas though if they perhaps never saw you, would be okay if you just took the order and delivered as though someone else was doing the back work. But when they figure out it's you, like you said, like it's like, oh well, maybe I can't talk it down. When really you came here for the product, you didn't come here for the person. So you just kind of got to stand your ground. You definitely have to stand your ground, and who is for you will be for you. I don't want nothing that's for nobody else.
Yeah.
And what's for me, I want to take advantage of. So no matter who the client is, background, age, race, treat them with love and kindness, and eventually they'll soften up. Sometimes they will be a residual client just because of how you responded positively to what they, ignited to be negative.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point, Brittany, because it even though they may have had their own, say, agenda in their mind after seeing you, but how you treated them, regardless of them, despite them, will go a long way with them possibly being a repeat customer because you look beyond their issues. Right.
Yeah.
So
and they're probably surprised at how you responded. They may have had completely other expectations, like, oh, okay, I didn't think that would be how it came, but it was, and it could be for your benefit. Don't even match energies. Build your own energies. Live through it, and it'll benefit you.
Especially if you look younger than what you are, kind of
thing.
That's a whole other story as well.
Yeah.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Yes. I agree.
Ayisha, what's been your experience as far as disadvantages, challenges being a Black woman business owner?
Yeah, I can definitely agree with both of what you ladies said. And I actually was just talking to my sister earlier today about like charging your price. Your price is your price, and you're charging what you're worth. And your price is your price. And I saw this thing once about a woman was talking about like the backlash she's gotten for like whatever her service was, like the charge, how much she charges. And she kind of responds to them and says, well, you're not charging for my time, you're charging for my expertise. So where you see it's only an hour of XYZ, whatever the services I'm offering, you're paying really for the 17 years of experience that I have, the schooling that I've put in, the time to perfect my craft and all these other things. And so I definitely get that too. And, I'm a product-based business. So I do a lot of events and things in person where I'm selling my products. And so, I get, people coming up to the table, kind of seeing the price or asking questions. And then when I let them know what the price is, I kind of sometimes get the eyebrows raised and, oh, okay, that's nice. And, kind of put it down and kindly walk away. So, but I don't buckle. I don't say, well, let me, can I offer you? I'm not, this isn't the swap meet. I'm not, it's not a flea market. And so there was this time that there was a lady who was trying to like argue down a price, and she came back by my table an hour later. She was like, okay, I'm about to leave. Now you sure you don't want this $4? It's like, ma'am, how do you go from 22 to $4? How are you sure you don't want to take this on? Like, that's not,
no.
That's definitely.
Well, I will hope to see you next time.
I hope to see you next time.
Yeah.
And when your friends tell you about the product that they use, you'll be back.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to take the good with the bad. And for me, sometimes like publicizing, like you said, Brittany, like you don't always advertise yourself, say like, oh yeah, I'm a Black woman owned business,
Right.
because you don't know how people will respond to that. And if you look at my Instagram, like early on, I wasn't putting my face, on there. It was just like, you can see my hands, maybe my fingertips, and kind of like, is that a light skinned cuticle or not? And try to figure out, who was the
Right.
person
Trying to figure you
behind
out.
the soap,
Right.
right, the person behind the soap making, just because, even though I'm proud to be all of these things, you don't want to, for people to marginalize you, put you in a box, and
Put you in
kind
a
of just
box,
like dismiss your service or your product without even giving it the chance, because of the person on the other side. So, for the most part, I would say there's been good experiences outside of, people thinking they're gonna, flea market you down and, haggle you with prices because, what you look like. But overall, I would say, there's not been too many challenges in that same way.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Honey Bunches has a good comment. She said, people don't go to Bath and Body Works and ask for a discounted price. Don't do it at Beyond Bubbles and the rest of our businesses.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Tiffany said, you come for the product, not the person. I like that. Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
And Amira says, there are sliding scale businesses, and this is not one of them.
No. Yeah. And listen, it isn't about, it's also about, I agree with you about the experience, the 20-something years experience, but also it's about everything else you bring, comfort level, the environment. My one of my business colleagues, like that I do business with, she's amazing. And Tiffany, I don't know if you ever, my cousin Tiffany, you ever been to my first location of my private practice? Was on the craziest street in Germantown, and people will go, are you sure your practice is here? I'm like, yeah, just knock on the door. And when they came in, it was like, oh, I get it, this is nice, but it was on a busy block. And they said, only because you Romain or Lisa, whoever was there, the clinician, but we provided an atmosphere at the time, right? We provided service, and they knew when they came in what we were supportive with them with, right? So it comes with all of that. You want somebody to treat you right. Is about that relationship.
That's
absolutely.
For
sure. Yeah,
absolutely. There was a I'm sure you guys have probably seen it on social media, or some social media, and where the person is providing a service for someone, and the price was whatever it was, a high price, and the person said that was receiving service said it only took you 15 minutes or 30 minutes to do that, and you're charging this. He said, yeah, because I went to school all these years to learn how to do it in that amount of time. That's why you have to do that. But years sweat, put all this money in, because you can't do it in 15 minutes, but I know because all the sweat equity I put in. So knowing your worth. Knowing your worth. So good points, ladies. Very good points. So what are some of the most important lessons that you've learned through the course of being a Black woman owning a business, Nikki? Romain, that's for you.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say, I'm continuing to learn and grow. I've been up in my game on building my contracts. I've been learning from my family members, and my cousin helped me out over the holiday break on some things. I've been learning this whole social media thing. Just like Brittany, I everything was like word of mouth and recommendation. I built the practice solely on that. And I didn't have no website. I didn't have any social media, stuff like that. And I needed an assistant to kind of help me with some.
Nikki, I think you just came to social media in 2024, right?
I did. I was running the whole practice without it. I'm telling you. And I hired my assistant Nikki to help me with some other things I needed because I couldn't do it all. Like I think we were sharing. I was calling companies. I was marketing. I was doing like all stuff. And I was like, I'm filing paperwork. I'm doing all this stuff. So when I asked Nikki to be my assistant, and she was like, what about a website? I'm like, what? What? Social media? What? Facebook? What? And she got me on board. So that's a whole other story. But just learning to, but also doing that to a certain limit. I want to still make it feel good to me. I don't want to follow every trend, everything that's going on. So I said, when I'm ready and God speaks to me on what it should look like and what it should serve the purpose for, then that's what I will do. So just continuing to learn, grow. I'm learning how to be in boardrooms. I've been in meetings. I've been in a lot of individual stuff like that, but learning to bring it in a little bit of a bigger fashion in some ways. And just want to build as much for me and my team as we can in doing this work and serving the community.
Okay. Awesome. Brittany, how about you?
Repeat the question for me because I had it in my head. I want to make sure I answer correctly.
No problem. I was just asking what's some of the, lessons that, the best things that you learned throughout, your journey as a Black businesswoman owning a business.
I've learned, and I'm kind of repeating myself, that your energy can be reciprocated. When you are under pressure, you give no right for your team to be under pressure, right? Because if you flipping out, everybody's going to start flipping out. But if you maintain your peace, it goes a long way. Other things that I've learned is to create like business partners. So encourage others that to like seek their gift, pour into it. They'll pour into you, and either like with other, let's say like vendors, you want to build a good reputation with them, even if it's giving them something for free, right? Just for the long haul. Or it's like, it could be I say you gotta lose money to gain money. But it's really for the benefit. It's for your benefit in the long run. So sometimes we would just, let's say, like send an arrangement to a company, and like they might have people who come in and like, oh, where'd you get this from? But it's just one arrangement, but you might get 40 orders from that one arrangement, So it's definitely your presentation and things like that. So and definitely bring on people who are interested in your skill or learning that skill. Even if it's as volunteers, I don't call nobody a volunteer. If you work, you eat, but labor is worthy of his hire. But if they want to learn, like encourage others to learn, because they could be to your benefit in the long run too. So never look at anyone as your competition ever. Encourage everyone to tap into the best of who they are and watch them flourish and encourage their journey as well, just as they support yours.
That's right. Absolutely. I agree.
Yes.
Partnerships.
Great. Those wonderful wisdom nuggets right there. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ayisha, what about you? What have you most important lessons you've learned along your journey?
My answer is pretty much an amalgamation of what both of the ladies have said. For me, it's always learning and always kind of to grow and perfect the craft and expand the craft. So I'm always, looking at, different like following different accounts and things about, formulation labs, and because it's, skincare and things that, are on the person, aesthetic. Like it's important to make sure you know what it is that you're doing. You can't just be mixing this into a little bit of that, drop of that, because there's a science to it essentially. So I'm always learning and like I said, following different formulation accounts and like going into their lessons and like learning how to do new and more and that kind of thing. And I shared that I've evolved into candles now at this point. So for me, the lessons are still continuing and probably always will continue. And even when I make my soaps now, before I do, even if it's a soap I've made before, I always have to go back and check the international fragrance regulation standards, because they change, because anything that goes on your skin, it has, as those things change. So those regulations and those standards are one of those sliding scales and things. So it could be an essential oil that I've used before that now they're saying they're recommending that you use less because studies have shown XYZ. So my lessons are always, kind of moving. And then Tiffany, to what you were saying about, not letting, nobody is your competition, like encouraging others, and there's enough for everybody to eat.
Correct.
Not like the skincare industry and like the handmade soap business. I saw a statistic about a week ago. It's like $150 million, whatever it is, dollar business. So I'm not looking to bring in all $150 million. Great, but there was, there should be more than one, handcrafted soap business or body butter business and, all these other businesses.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean? So just kind of, being able to partner with other people and like, iron sharpens iron. I said that to my sister, I think, earlier this week. And to the point you made, Brittany, about, losing money to make money. I got an email sometime, I think last week, about a woman who was putting together this awesome event for Black women, down in Atlanta, and she was looking to put together gift bags. And would I make a gift in kind contribution that supports wellness, self-care, and all these things that Beyond Bubbles, represents. And as I was considering it, and it's, it was almost an easy decision for me, just because I'm not getting paid off this now. But the 85 women who are in the room who have a little bit of, whatever it is I have to offer might then order a gift box or, come back as return customers. So the losing money to make money, as you kind of put it, and kind of will benefit you, like you said, like in the long run for sure. So those are kind of some of my lessons and some of, the things that I, always kind of keep in the back of my mind.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely look at it as an investment. And I also look at it as investment in a relationship. I mean, we do that right now in our romantic relationships, our friendships, kids, etc. We invest in it. And sometimes you got to give, right? And pour into and vice versa. So it's a reciprocated. Sometimes one have more than others at that moment, but is definitely a relationship. So it's an investment into it, an investment into the business. Right.
I agree.
100%. And I definitely 100% believe in partnerships. Some of the, you guys, when you look at the website, some of the partners that we have and more to come, hopefully, because we can't just do this work, like I said, in one linear path. There's so many different ways that we can, expand and collaborate and let those people out there know what's going on and how they can receive services from our businesses. Absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of like collaborations and partnerships, anytime I see like an event planner, Brittany, I guess she's having some technical difficulties, but event planner or, those kinds of things, Beyond Bubbles does, shower favors, party favors, and, and it can be kind of anything. It can be a soap, it can be a small candle. Like I have these small candles as well. So like I do offer these different things. So anytime I'm interacting with like I said, event planner or floor, whoever, I always like kind of say like, oh, for your next party, like, keep, if you hadn't thought of favors yet, keep us in mind, and like, and vice versa. So I'm all about, how can one benefit the other and how can these two businesses kind of collide?
100%.
And
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. And last holiday season, I had done like these little gift boxes. They weren't gift boxes for a woman who she's a part of the Links organization. And so she asked me to do these gift boxes. And because I knew there were going to again be all these women in this room who could then turn into long-term, customers and clients and that kind of a thing, I lowered my price just a little bit, because it was the long-term investment. And, Mama made a comment. She was like, I'm like, I'm surprised you're not going to, why you? And I was like, well, you got to think about it, Mama, because I'm losing it now. I might be losing $4 per box, whatever it was now. But that holiday season, the women of that group who got those boxes turned out. And then a couple months ago, I was at an event in person where those same women were who had received those boxes last
it's a
year.
relationship.
Like, oh, like you're the face behind the, so
that's right.
Like they said, their relationship kind of ongoing and just building that connection. So definitely.
I agree.
Okay, Brittany's back. Thank you for coming back, Brittany.
Absolutely. I don't know what happened, but I'm back.
That's okay. As you know, as you ladies are talking, this information is so wonderful. And as I, hear all of what you all are saying, I'm getting all of these ideas about, a Black Women in Business Expo, where, Brittany's doing all the floral arrangements, and, Romain Nikki is, going to do a dance movement thing for all of the ladies there. And of course, Ayisha is going to bathe us in her natural body, artisan soaps, etc. Whatever other, because there's so many other, women who we know, and just coming together as Black women to support one another in what it is that we do. Because we often talk about, Black women not supporting each other. And we know there's some aspect of that that's true. But a lot of that aspect is not true as well. Right. And so we break stigmas, on this platform. So don't be surprised if at some time in the future, I call upon you ladies and others who haven't been on the panel yet, but I know, and those of you who you all know, that we come together in person, some hotel or something like that, whatever venue the Lord gives me, for us to come together. Amazing for Black women in business. So
absolutely.
I'm down for that. Hey, let's put that out there.
We're going to read some of the comments. I think we left off with Tiffany up here. Romain finally came to social media, and her assistant is Beth. Yes, Nikki is Nikki. Romain Nikki has an assistant named Nikki. Nikki is wonderful. And Tiffany also says Romain is underplaying. Yes, it is no joke initially, but she is killing it, and that's motivation for others. Do not give up, be encouraged, and you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
Yes. I hear you, Tiff. I agree. We'll be here all day. Telling this story over here. Yes.
So but Tiffany has another comment.
She knows the journey. Yeah, that's another story. She knows the journey, but I'm so thankful.
Tiffany also says, Ayisha and Brittany, can you how can we follow you or get in touch and send others to your business? I know Ayana is going to put that up on the screen, and she has, but also too at the end, the ladies are going to share their contact information. I'm going to get that right out, Tiffany. Amira says, it is so clear that you all do this because you truly care. It shows, and I know that y'all businesses will flourish. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So while we're talking a little bit about support, is there a lot of support out there, ladies, for you being a Black business woman owner? Nikki, is there a lot of support for Black women owned businesses?
I haven't came to someone like, let me back up. I don't think anybody came to me directly and said like, hey, I want to mentor you. I want to kind of do that for you and be that support. I think I seek people out when needed, and certain family members, like I get little nuggets here and there. Like I went to go visit my Aunt Agnes a couple of weeks ago, and me and my cousins was there, and she was just dropping nuggets about money and interest and all that, and I was over there like this, taking notes, like what you say now? You said you do what to the high end saving? Okay, got you. And the what? Like I'm a note taker. I'm going to get that information, and so I don't have any direct people in this field to do that, but I am willing to say, hey. This is before all the technology and everything like that. Like go to someone and say, hey, I'm trying to do this. What's your thoughts? I don't share too much. I give a little bit. And that's just my background on some trust stuff. But, I do try to reach out and try to get information. But I don't know where to go and seek when I was starting, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But I wish I had something.
So that's an area of improvement in our field, Nikki.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. That's why I take on interns. That's why I do this work. I take on interns. I love interns because I want to get that support, because I didn't have that in that way.
Right. And I shared a similar experience. So, and so I often now find myself mentoring those who are up and coming counselors, wanting to start their own practice, just wanting to get their voice out there. Also, too, I'm mentoring people about getting their voice out on social media, like what we're doing now, going on a show and sharing what it is that they do, because there's a lot of fear of doing that. So I mentor people, how their public appearance with sharing their craft and what it is that they do. You talk to people for a living. It's just like talking to someone, you're just on the camera. So, the fear is false evidence appearing real. The fear is bigger than the actual doing. Right. And so putting ourselves out there and doing what we, didn't get ourselves, we're making sure that are coming behind us. And it has nothing to do with age, because there's older people than me who are coming behind me. Right. Because they haven't did it before, but they want to do it now.
My last intern, who also is our employee right now, faith-based program, is older than me. But yes, and can I just shout out before Brittany goes? This is an example about Black women. Sometimes we have our babies. We gotta rotate. This when you talk about Black mothers and business. Okay, right. I have the baby. I be typing.
Right. That's putting the baby boy to bed.
Stapling, cooking, while I'm on a business call. It's real
Do it
life.
all right. Customer
That's
service, yeah, all the things.
Somebody pack up these boxes, son. You need to go do X, Y, Z. Yes, it's a family business.
That's right, family business. Like I said, that's putting baby boy to bed.
Yeah,
Mama's
sorry,
on
Brittany.
duty now.
I had to shout that out. I just noticed that. Yes,
That's how you have to do it. We get it done,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
So, Ayisha, since you're talking, what has been? Is there a lot of support for Black women in business from your experience with what you do?
So as far as the corporations, I would say yes. I mean, because as you know, again, another statistic that I saw is that, Black women, as far as like Black businesses go, Black women are, the owners of more than half of that. I think it's about 57% Black women own business versus Black males who own the business. And then also Black women were the highest and the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, during the pandemic and still beyond. And so I don't want to call it a trend or a fad or anything like that, but I think a lot of corporations and all these different things kind of caught hold of that. And there's power in the purse, so no matter where the green dollar is coming from, they want to kind of foster that and help, to circulate that money into the economy. So there are a lot of grants and things available, because you are a Black woman-owned businesses, and just as there is, for if you're Black, if you're a woman, if you're a veteran, if you're disabled, and all these kind of categories, all across. So yes, there are things out there that are available, depending on the scope and size of your business and those kinds of things. So you just kind of have to, look out for those. But as far as like emotional support, like other support, and Romain, I almost called you Nikki, like with family.
Yeah,
Romain,
right.
that you were talking
We all
about.
family.
That's right. We all can. That you were talking about, Michelle, like you were saying, like there's like this idea or stereotype or notion that like Black women are like, kind of catty to each other, like kind of pull each other down. But that's not been my experience in this business. The support system of Black, other, women in business who I, follow on Instagram and social media, have become, like sisters in business, really. So I'll bounce an idea off of them or kind of ask like, well, how did you X, Y, Z? And, we kind of communicate and have that support from one another. So, and that's not been other experiences for some other people. Like one woman who, become like a sister in business, kind of ask you, like, do you have like friends in this business? Like, especially if they're in the same industry as you, like, I find that it's like so competitive and they're trying to pull me down, like, in all these things. And so, I know that it happens, but, thank God that it's not been my experience, with my Black, sisters in business. So their support, both, financially, as far as corporations and grants and, free monies and resources go. And then also I have found, a support system as well in other Black women in business.
Okay, awesome. And Brittany, how about you? Have you found a lot of support from other Black women, or just support in general with your journey being a Black business owner? Brittany, can you hear me?
I think there might be a delay.
Yeah, sounds like it's a delay.
Okay.
I can hear you now. It was going in and out. I can hear you now.
Okay. So the question was, have you found a lot of support or not being a Black woman business owner from other Black women in your field, or just
I can hear you again. I said okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just let's be patient. There's some technical difficulties. So if you can answer the question, if you heard me, Brittany.
So I did hear the question. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yep.
Okay, I'm with you. There is support, right? I believe it's support. You give the support that you give. So I am adamant about supporting Black women. Like it's my pride and joy. However, every business got to rep it set, if I'm making it clear.
Correct.
Oh, she's going out.
Correct. And while she's jumping on, I think my experience in doing this work, I think, and it also depends on your energy. I think you see, it's like you see somebody across the room and you go, yeah, let me,
Sure.
And we like searching for each other. Right.
Yeah.
So you're like, yes, right. Now, have I experienced people on occasions trying? Yeah, and it depends what your period is to not let it happen, right? Go ahead, Brittany.
I'm sorry. It keeps kicking me out. but you have to represent what you're selling. So even though I encourage to support Black women, if you're a Black woman, if you are not a Black woman, you want to still get like the service. I'm not even gonna say the service as if you were not Black, because you are responsible for how you handle your own business, right? So I love finding Black women, encouraging Black women. I encourage us to lighten up and love each other, right? Because we are for you. We have to be aware that people are for us, and you want the same type of service. Like what will people think when they look at you, right? How do you want to be received? And that's kind of the mindset we have to have, so that we can receive the type of love that people are looking to give, and be able to give that love as well, so that we can continue to support and flourish and encourage one another. It is support for us. There are people looking to support us who are our color and who are not our color. But I think the backhand of it is like, how do you present yourself, right? So that people desire to support you.
Right. Good point. Well, ladies, we are 5-6 minutes over our time, so I'm gonna. I know it went by so fast as it always does.
I know.
So, but I don't want to leave. There's so much more we could talk about, but I don't want to leave before you ladies can give a final thing. You've been giving wisdom nuggets throughout the whole show, so kudos, ladies. You dropped some gems today.
Yes,
but anything that you want to leave the audience with, as well as your contact information, so we can take advantage of your services or your products. So, Nikki, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think my like I said, we can have this conversation for many hours. I say, believe in yourself. Listen to your heart, listen to your spirit. If it's calling you to move in that direction, listen to it, because you don't want to be miserable on the other side, and everybody around you is miserable. Your family, your friends, everybody that you be in contact with. So invest in yourself. Spend that energy in doing that work. In segue in that, maybe doing that work also maybe start with therapy, figuring out what's the barrier, what's stopping you, right? What's getting in the way, fear of success, fear of failure, etc., right? So anyway, you can definitely check us out. Our website is www.romaindiazllc.org. You can check out, we have a wonderful staff, see what everybody's doing, the wonderful things that we're doing in the practice. And that's it. That's all I'd like to share. Till the next time.
Nikki, any upcoming events like immediately?
Yes. So we have the next 3 Tuesdays, we have a post-election event. A lot of people are very nervous. A lot of people have anxiety around it, just dealing with changes. So we have at ECS, the day after inauguration was at 21st, 28th, and the 4th at ECS. Free food, come out. We're having a great discussion just about those barrier, or not barriers, but those things that's causing anxiety. I have some other things going on, but we'll leave that there at this moment. Okay. So, but definitely check us out on our website for more events.
Say your website again, Nikki.
Yes, www.romaindiazllc.org, ROMAINDIAZLLC.org.
And we're awesome. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. Brittani, what about you? Tell us your contact information and any wisdom nuggets you care to drop again.
Contact information, our website is simplyfloras.com. Instagram, we are found at simply_floras. And every connecting page can be found throughout Simply Floras. Words of wisdom, if you're thinking about it, pray about it. If you get confirmation, obey the confirmation. Obedience is That's key. Right. Stay the course, even if the course don't make sense. If it's spirit led, stay the course. Eventually the math's going to start mathing. And don't get distracted. Don't let the enemy attack your mind, your body, your spirit, because if you're comfortable, then you're not doing something right. So discomfort is a good sign in many seasons too, that you're on the right path. If you feel like you're going to be attacked, keep praying about it, keep pushing, you'll be all right.
Oh, that's good. Before you go, Ayisha, Romain, Nicole wants to know if you have an Instagram.
No, Liz, I just got on social media last year. Thank you. But no, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. So Romain Diaz.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right. Ayisha, what's your wisdom to part with and your contact information?
My contact information, my website is beyond-bubbles.com. And my Instagram is _beyond_bubbles_. And my words of wisdom, kind of just to echo Brittany, I saw this again, something that I saw online, and it said the same God that gave you the idea, will give you the clients, the customers, the resources, and the math to be mathing. So when you have a God-given idea, God-given talent, calling, you follow it. That's what my pivot was. Like I said, those herbs that I had infusing, I pivoted and switched to something different. And so I obeyed, my confirmation and here I am today. So when you got that God-given idea, the rest will fall into place. So that is my, so just do it. And that's my words of wisdom.
Awesome. And there is no competition. We don't have competition.
No.
Right? Because there's enough out there for everybody. And like all of you have said, when it's a God idea, he has the people already lined up for you. That's why we have to be on our post to make sure we're being obedient. Because when we're not obedient, we're delaying someone else's process and someone else's progress. Right? So people are already waiting for us.
That's right.
So it's a done deal. The millions are there waiting for us. God said we're millions on the table, right? He told me that years ago regarding social media. So make sure you have your social media presence together. Even though I'm not a social media fan, but that's where the people are, right? It's no longer newspapers and magazines. They exist, but this is social media is where the people are. So when you step up your social media game and do different things of that nature, now you're fishing in the sea, the ocean, right? And so the ocean is where the catch is. So the ocean is the internet, right? The internet is international. Where else can you go to get a global audience all with one platform of Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube? This is the spot. Like it or not, I'm not a fan, but I'm a fan of having some income, right? And growing that income to where God, I know he's going to take it because of what he said. So we use the resources that he has provided, and it's basically free resources.
Oh, yeah.
Internet service, right? But we don't have to pay to put an ad in the paper, right? Or like we used to do.
Connection to people. Yeah.
Exactly. So take advantage of what we've been blessed with the internet and social media presence. Nicole has a comment. Nicole said, yes, found you, Ayisha, and I have Simply Flores from a few previous collabs. Thank you so much, ladies. I love this, and I am subscribed. Keep being more than amazing. Thank you, FLC. Thank you, Nicole. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Honey Bunches says, that was great. I thank you, ladies, for your wisdom and insight. Thank you, Honey Bunches. Nicole said, Nikki, after you gave that Instagram and said you don't have Instagram, rather, but she's following you anyway. And Doreen said, enjoyed the conversation, ladies, and nuggets that you shared. Very informative. Thank you. And everyone, several people, Tiffany, Honey Bunches, and Mira was saying how adorable your baby is, Ayisha. Cupcake is adorable.
We had a fifth guest on the show tonight.
Yes. Well, ladies, this has been a wonderful show. Amazing. Are amazing. Literally amazing.
Good. Yes.
And I'm telling you, we are going to do some great things in the future. Hear me by the Spirit of the Lord. Right? Amen. Hear me by the Spirit of the Lord. We are going to do some amazing things. And it's not going to take no 10 years. Okay.
Yeah, right.
We're going to do some amazing things in the near future. So stay tuned. Right?
That's right.
Always be prepared. I'm not saying you're not, I'm just sharing. Always be prepared, because you never know when that phone call is going to come. And I'm not even saying for me. I'm just saying you never know when that phone call is going to come, right? And so God is going to do amazing things. We're in for some troubling times ahead, right? But God's people are going to be okay. Because no matter what comes, Jesus is still on the throne.
Right.
And that's all that matters. And he's got our back, he's got our side, he's got our front, he is our rear guard, front and side guard. He's got us. We are protected. So no matter what comes, don't fear, don't fret, right? Stay connected in his word and in prayer and fellowship at your local assembly. Stay connected. Stay connected, because there are some mental health challenges that are coming. And the light not seen that the world is going to suffer, right? And if those of us who are believers and saints of God, when we stay connected, we will not have those great suffer those great mental health challenges that the world is about to see. I'm telling you what the Spirit of the Lord has told me, and I'm sharing it with you.
That's right.
Stay connected with Holy Spirit so you don't succumb to the mental health stresses and pressures that's about to hit the world.
All right.
It happened when COVID happened to a greater degree. This is going to be nothing. What happened in COVID is going to be nothing compared to what. I'm not trying to scare you. I am not. But the reality is there's things that are coming that people aren't prepared for. And you need to stay connected to God. And those of us who stay connected, our minds and our emotions are going to be protected by the Spirit of the Lord. So, just wanted to share that. We all can move forward and know that we are blessed, highly favored, and successful. No matter what comes, we are successful in Christ.
That's right.
Okay? So, wonderful show, ladies. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yes. Good.
So wonderful. I'm so glad because I couldn't talk. I had so many questions, but this was just so good. I'll be ready next week.
Feel better.
It was so good.
All right, ladies. Well, you guys have a great evening, a blessed evening, a God week. And don't forget to join us for the next 2 Mondays. And we'll be back on Wednesdays coming in back in February. But the next 2 Mondays, we have a business attorney, Eladia. Good game. She'll be on in December, and she's going to talk about next week nonprofits and all the legalities that need to you need to know about nonprofits, what's coming with the new administration, as well as the following week, the last Monday in January, trademarking, branding, marketing, copywriting, and all the things like that to get you where you need to go in those areas. So don't forget to watch the show on Mondays, 8:00 for this month in January. And Lottie got, she's a wealth of information. She's Holy Spirit, and I am taking advantage of her services. So listen, we are on our way, and I'm saying this because I'm saying it from the unction of the Lord. We are stepping into new financial territory. Those of us who we are stepping into a new threshold of finance. But we have to have our business in order because God doesn't bless mess. Right? So if you want to step into that new realm of finance, greater finances he has for us, right? Then make sure that you have your business in order. Take advantage of Eladia or whomever the Lord lays on your heart to help you with your business if you need help in those different areas. And because laws are about to change with this new administration. This new administration is business friendly, but we still have to know what's going on because there's other things we have to be aware of to make sure that we have business shored up. So we don't want to leave any money on the table.
That's right.
Right. So I just wanted to share that I felt the Lord was sharing with me to share with you tonight. So thank you, ladies. Sandra Lee, feel better.
I'm going to. I will. Healed in Jesus' name.
You are healed.
That's right.
That's right. Ladies, thank you again. Have a God evening. Have a
Good
God
night,
evening.
everybody.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.